Kong. Welcome to one of the world's great cities. Alright, sunset time. Star Ferry's right there. That's kind of a historic thing. Let's catch a ride over to the other side. We'll get some food around Tsimsha and we'll catch the light show. This whole complex around Central and Admiralty is just a bunch of escalators and corridors and walkways. It's all connected together. You really got to know the lay of the land, and sometimes it's hard to figure it out.
Whoa, you're paying with cash?
Well, I mean, yeah, it does surprise me that credit card acceptance isn't as widespread in a city as globalized as this. But for Octopus, which is how you get around, how you pay for many things, you can only top up with cash, at least for the time being. Actually, I did see online that you can top up with Apple Pay these days, so it's your fault for being an Android user. It's your fault.
Where are we going?
We're moving now. We're moving across the harbor. We're off to Tsimsha, and this is the perfect time to do the Star Ferry at sunset. You catch a bit of the daylight, a little bit of golden hour, but also the lights of Victoria Harbor as they start to flicker onwards.
Is this something that you did a lot when you were younger?
Actually, no. Not at all. I've basically never, I don't think we ever did this as a kid. Maybe once or twice. But it's one of those things you don't really do when you're living in the city. But as a tourist, it's like, it evokes the spirit of the place. Maybe not every time I'm back, but sometimes when I'm looking to rediscover that, this is always a fun way to get across. I mean, it's hella slow, right? Take the train, you're there in like 3 minutes. This is a lot more sentimental, a lot more fun. This is the area that we used to stay at a lot after we moved away, but when we still came back. So we'd stay down there and we'd get off the train station. And yeah, just remember this walk being so long.
When you're younger, the world feels so much bigger.
Exactly. When you're younger, it's like you don't really think about distances. You don't really have that conception of distances. It's just a simple walk down the street. It's such an obstacle, but now everything's so connected, everything's so much more accessible. If I run the idea by my dad, he's gonna want to come here. He's like a huge art gallery guy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Today we're at Four Seasons, which is at the base of that tall building, IFC. You see how the top is like just illuminating the clouds over there. Yeah. And then tomorrow moving to Shangri-La. See like off in the distance, Shangri-La, checking out that place. And then the day after we're at the Mandarin, which is that tiny building. It's kind of small, but it's the original Mandarin Oriental. That'll be exciting too. If the criteria is needle moving, I feel like this is best to like share a presentation format.
Day 2, you were up pretty early.
Yeah, meetings from 5:30. Now it's time for breakfast and another meeting during breakfast. Cool. Just wanted to ask. I was like, I did not realize that we are now seniors. I feel like one of the most common comments we see is, how do you stay fit while flying around and eating so much on the planes? It's all about the hotel gyms. You just gotta maximize your time. You should come down in the mornings before heading out for the day. One of the hardest things is making sure I have well-timed rests between sets. It's too easy to get distracted, but especially on the road with a tight schedule, just gotta be strict. 60 seconds, 90 seconds. First site inspection is done. Now we're gonna take a little bit of a detour before the next one. We're gonna go all the way to the very end of the line, back to the place I used to live when I was growing up in Hong Kong. Always something I like to do, go back to the old stomping grounds, reconnect a little bit, reminisce, and yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. Let's go check it out, get some food, come back. Discovery Park.
Please stand back from the platform.
Things looking familiar?
Everything feels so small compared to when I was small. And yeah, it was in one of those pink buildings that we lived. I think it was Block F, floor 26, something like that, but one of these pink buildings. So these days, whenever we're out and about, we see like a waterfall or even just like simple water feature designs like this, it's always so captivating, and I feel like this might just be the place that I first picked up that habit. All right, come on.
So many stairs.
Yeah, well, it's Hong Kong, you know? Looks like the playground equipment has been updated though. You know, that's where we played after school. This is where we ran around and just like let the time pass. And it really was, yeah, just one of those typical, you know, Hong Kong small apartments. Great times. Learned to play piano. I had a normal bed, and then I was kicking and screaming, asking for a bunk bed. And then I never used the bunk bed. I remember I fell off the bed once. Probably around 2002 World Cup. I was like kicking the ball in the living room, and I was thinking like, this must be exactly like what it would be like to kick a ball on the field. So just kicking a ball in the living room against the door. Crazy times. We had our multiplication tables. We had a little table by the side, living room, and then we installed some bookshelves and cabinets over time. And then we had our first computer. Ages ago. Genuinely fills me with joy to be back. Such a reminiscing, renewing feeling. Almost like just going back to those childhood days. It really is such a privilege, right? To be able to come back to your roots, reconnect with them, get to know what it's like, everything that has changed in the meantime. It's really nice to see, yeah, like how things have stayed the same, how things have changed, but how those elements that you remember are still very much around. Yeah, it's just can't be more thankful for the fact that, you know, we can just make it back here to Hong Kong. And anytime I have a spare day in Hong Kong, I probably should see more of the city. There's a lot more I'd like to see, a lot more I'd like to do, but all too often I'm guilty of a spare day in Hong Kong, just taking the Chuen Wan line all the way to the end, back to the place I used to call home. Definitely try to spend some time seeing the city.
That's my plan. So like tomorrow I'm just gonna be, I gotta recover. So I'm just gonna get up early, hit the gym, and then
You like to post up somewhere 5 days, 7 days, and grind out work. But do you find that the intermittent travel still takes you out of focus?
yes. Yeah.
There's
especially this trip. Because I've been trying to like just figure out the different ways that I can like still travel but like dial in.
Yeah.
And this trip's been a lot of like I go somewhere for 7 to 10 or 12 days.
Yeah.
But then like then you have like a 48-hour kind of travel endeavor, then you're fucked up for, you know, the day after that. So yeah, I'm still trying to kind of get that figured out, but last year I pretty much did like January, February, March, April was a different country, but I was kind of posted up in one spot for a month.
Yeah.
Posted up, got work done, got to explore, got dialed in, so I'm gonna try to do something like that in March and April. I just don't know where yet.
喂，妈妈，你们快到了。好，那我们在文华酒店见面吧。啊，我马上到。It's always really nice. We used to live out here for a while, and even after we moved, we came down pretty often. And lots of good memories of family trips down here, so super good to rekindle some of those, reconnect. You know, obviously to be able to use what we do, flew them down here in points on business class, staying at nice places. You know, it's nothing more special than that. So the more you can use your points, your travel, the life you've built around travel to serve yourself, your loved ones, your close ones, I think that's the best outcomes that we're all looking for.